You're watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and reactions.
And I'm back. We are back live. Thank you for joining us on the Scottish Football Zone. It's great to be here. Michael, it's great to have you on. Obviously, I'm in the hosting chair this week. So it's a bit different for me, but I'm glad that you're back on, mate.
Yeah, no, thanks for looking after the show, Regan, and I think you'll be doing a better job than me than hosting. So, no, it's nice to be back.
Yeah, it's been great, mate, and obviously we've had a big few talking points in Scottish football in the Scotland game last night as well.
It turned out to be one of these kind of weird nights where I don't think we performed well at all in the game. But then we scored a few good goals in the second half. But it was a good night all round for Scotland at home as well.
Yeah, obviously, Scotland didn't play that well last week. I don't know what you thought about the game.
I think that's the poorest I've seen Scotland for a while, especially at home. You know, that we always talk about that kind of like 12 man and stuff like that. And obviously the supporters done their bit, but the team didn't do their bit on the park. I don't know about you, but every time Scotland got the ball, it went back the way, skigger forward. And that was a bit kind of like cumbersome and boring to watch. But no, so as I say, right up till I can't remember, was it 60 minutes, and when we got that all-important goal to get us back into the game. And yeah, to be honest with you, after the first goal, we looked pretty poor as well. But as old saying goes, where it doesn't matter how many shots you've got in the game, but it matters with the final score. And we came out 3-1 winners on the night, and it was a brilliant night, but not a brilliant performance. But I don't think Stevie Clark and the team would be bothered about that.
No, I don't think they will be. And I think in terms of the whole match in general, I didn't think it really. I didn't think the match was really that great up until about 20 minutes until the end of the match. Obviously, Greece they had a few chances. They had a great chance in the first half, Michael, where they probably should score, where the wide player crosses the ball in, and all the striker's got to do is put his leg towards the ball, and if he puts his leg towards the ball, it's in the back of the net.
Yeah, we were quite lucky. We kind of rolled our luck at times because, I thought Greece had given 2 or 3 up as well. And we need to talk about that save with Angus Gunn. You know, that was a brilliant save as well. So we had to roll with luck at times in the game. But I think that you would need to do that when you go up against a good team like Greece as well. But in saying that, you would want Scotland to perform a bit better than what they did. But at the end of the game, that we were happy and you were happy and everybody else. But up until 50 minutes, you were saying, well, it's going to be another defeat for Scotland. So the feel good factor is back. But in terms of like the performance, I think they would need to perform better.
Yeah, and I think in general, I think the thing for Scotland in general was I didn't think any of the big players particularly showed up great, Michael.
Yeah, no, but it was funny because obviously they put in Ben Doak, and I thought he was like kind of poor in the game. McTominay as well was a bit kind of like quiet. Obviously, Billy Gilmore as well was a bit quiet. But you're thinking, well, they've kind of like came off a successful season, albeit it was it last season now? They won the town league and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, you could say that you couldn't pick a kind of man of the match or a player of the match now. They call it. You would think it had to pick one, but obviously the safe way. With Angus Gunn, if that one in, it would have been a different story. But no, it was a bit of a stuffy, weird performance from Scotland last night. But I don't think we would be from Scotland if we weren't Scotland gigging put us through nightmares basically.
Yeah, and I think in general, Michael, I think the whole picture now for Scotland looks actually absolutely brilliant, because that point in Denmark looks brilliant, and then we've obviously went on and we've won the rest of the games. So Scotland are looking in a great place so far.
It's funny because obviously when you were watching the game last night, as I said to you, it looked like another defeat, and it didn't look too good for Stevie Kraken and all the rest of it. But when you see the final picture at the end of the night, it looks kind of the Gargan Rose again, and you know it's going to be weird because if Greece doesn't pick anything up on Sunday night, well, they're out of the running of the qualifying campaign, whereas we are in the kind of like driving seat as well. I don't want to be too negative, because I know this is my first show back and all that, but if it'd be brilliant to qualify. It would be brilliant to put us in that position, but it's all right being in that position, but you want to do something because obviously we've qualified for the past 2 European Championships, and we've not done anything at these European Championships. So it's time for Scotland to qualify and also do something in the World Cup. And obviously, as I keep saying on the show in the past, Reagan, it puts Scottish football on the map.
Yes, and I think in general, Michael, I think the big thing for us is that I don't think we've seen the best of these players yet. There's still a long way to go for them. But I think the point was made on the TV last night in terms of, I think there's still a lot of players in that squad that this is probably the last chance to get into a World Cup or get into a Euros.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of these players might be the first World Cup as a professional football player and all the rest of it. So that they're doing it for Scotland first and foremost, but they're doing it for their own pride as well. But like something kind of like struck me, Reagan, and I know I said this on the show a few times that we never seem to kind of like produce the next kind of like generation of players, because I mean that Greece brought on a 17-year-old last night. I can't remember his name, and obviously I'm going to speak about Spain now because obviously Spain brought on somebody at the Euros as well in the semi-finals, and in fact I think he scored a goal as well. So that's only worrying thing for Scotland. We don't seem to like produce the next kind of like Billy Gilmore or Kieran Tierney, Andy Robertson, and all the rest of it. So yeah, but that's more of a kind of Scottish football thing, in terms of like the Premiership and the whole of Scotland football. Obviously, it's Steely Clark's kind of hands are tied when it comes to that, because he can only pick the player that's playing for the Scottish clubs and obviously Liverpool and all the rest of it. Whereas the difference between that and Premiership players, he can buy players, whereas the Scotland manager Carney, his hands are basically tied.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point you make. But I think as well, Michael, I don't know about you, but I think the world, going across the world is totally different to a Euros for me, because when you get to a World Cup, I mean, there's so many different. I remember back to years ago watching programs on the telly when you hear about the song by 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 Andy Ali's Army and stuff like that, Michael. I think there's something special about going across the world rather than just playing a European Championships.
Yeah, because the whole world's focusing on, whether it's Scotland or whoever and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, I've only saw Scotland get one, kind of maybe two, but I can only remember the one World Cup. I think it was in. I can't remember. Was it?
France 98? Was it France 98?
Yeah, where we maybe beat Brazil as well, but I think.
Sorry, Michael. I'm just showing your age there. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I'm the old guy of the two of us because obviously if I saw Scotland get a World Cup, I would imagine you haven't. So Scotland get a World Cup. So but it would be good to see Scotland back at a major tournament. And yeah, I mean it's bigger than the Euros because all eyes are focused on the World Cup.
Michael, see when the starting the lineup come in there. What did you make of the starting lineup? Because I don't know what you felt, but I just think like Che Adams, he doesn't really offer too much for me.
I was a wee bit disappointed with Shea Adams last night as I would be with the overall team performance, but I think he offered something different in terms of he gives you a bit of pace up front and but sadly I wasn't to be last night as well, and maybe you would like to think you would show up better against team, no disrespect, but teams that better us and all that on Sunday. And saying that, you still got to show them some respect as well, no matter how poor they are. But yeah, I was disappointed with his kind of overall game last night.
Yeah, that was my point. That was a correlation to my point, because I feel like Dykes offered more than 10 minutes than Che Adams did in um, in 75 minutes, because I just feel like if you watch Dykes when he comes on, Dykes he's heading the ball, he's trying to win his tackles, he's trying to win his challenges, and he's creating mayhem for the opposition as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a part of the game where it was 2-1. Was it when Dykes came on? I can't remember.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it offers something. See, I've kind of said to you in the show in the past that it would be good to see Adams and Dykes in the same team, because I think Adams would be a bit pacey up front, and Dykes is there to put the ball in the net, even though the goalkeeper helped him with the third goal last night. But yeah, I mean, I think he was just kind of up for the game and all that, and it was coming on at a kind of like crucial stage in the game.
Obviously, now I want to talk about Ferguson, because I think I've been a big advocate for Lewis Ferguson to be in the squad, Michael, and I'm glad to see that he's finally paid back this people like me for trying to get him in the squad, because I think he's a very good player and he's playing at a very good level over in Serie A as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see him, another one going over to Italy and playing well. And I suppose it's just kind of like experience about that kind of age as well. And the more games that he'll play over in Italy, but also for Scotland, the better football player that he'll be. And I think that we see that already with Lewis Ferguson. I mean, I liked him when he was at Aberdeen as well. So I think the more game time that we'll get, the better.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on something you said earlier about that save that Scotland had to make in the last seconds of the game. It was a great save by Angus, and I think he's just shown there that he is capable of doing really well for Scotland.
Maybe I know this is a bit weird me saying this, Regan, but I would maybe give him the man of the match for that save, because obviously it was a crucial part of the game, and I mean it was a goal. I would give it a brilliant goal from a Greek point of view and all the rest of it. But yeah, brilliant save, and I think it would. I think it was a better for two goal. But they offer two goalkeepers on a night as well. But that kind of like out the top draw that save, and I hope he puts his crickets to bed now because he's had a few crickets Reagan in the past couple of camps that he's played for Scotland as well. But he's going to win a few fans back on the side now. But football's a fun little game because there'll be supporters out there that still no like him. But it's one of these ones. Well, what does the guy have to do?
Yes, I mean Steve Clark was saying yesterday when he was speaking to the telly, he was saying that Luke Ferguson and Ryan Christie, they are both suspended now for the match on Sunday against Belarus.
Mm-hmm.
And who do you think will possibly be in to replace these guys?
Me, that's quite a kind of like tricky one. Obviously, you would want to be a kind of straight swap, but you can never tell by Stevie Clark. He makes weird kind of like decisions. But I mean, yeah.
To put this point to you, Michael, I think if it was my choice, and probably yours, I would go for the youngster in Lennon Miller. But I think Steve Clark will stick by probably Kenny McLean. Don't know if you agree with that, but that's what I just feel he'll do. He'll pick people that he knows and he trusts. But I think Lennon Miller's shown as well that he's a very talented player.
I think as well it's a difficult one, right? Because what I was saying early on was obviously you've got to show respect to Belarus, and I know they're not up to the same level as Greece and kind of like Denmark and the group as well. You've got to show them respect. Saying that because Ryan Christie's got that yellow card and is out the game tomorrow, I think somebody said getting commentary last night that Fagan said that if there was any game to be suspended for the game against Belarus, especially at home. And I think that because we've got the 3 points last night, and I know you've got to win the game on Sunday to keep the feel good factor going. I think Lennon Miller will. I think he'll either start the game or come on as a sub. I don't think he'll play the whole game.
I think that's a great point you make in terms of what you said about James McFadden. So James McFadden was saying that he felt that Lewis Ferguson not intentionally got booked, but he thinks it was the right type of match to get booked. Because if you think of Belarus, Scotland are going to have a lot of the ball. They're going to have a lot of chances. So it's not as if we are really going to need him. But I think in the matches against Greece and Denmark, the Greece games away from home, I think we're probably going to need Lewis Ferguson to be in there, and probably the same against Denmark. But I just find the rule very very stupid, because I just think if you get one booking, you're now on a yellow card. So you're not allowed to get booked twice in a campaign. I just find it strange.
Yeah, that's a kind of new rule to me. Because back in the day it was meant to be what 5 bookings or something, 3 or 4, and you're suspended for the games, but not a yellow card. And right, that's you out when it's game as well. I think as well that you've got to go with Ferguson for the next 2 away games, because obviously they're away from home. It's going to be a different atmosphere, different hostile atmosphere as well. Maybe it's going to be a different atmosphere again when you go to Greece, because if they get beaten Sunday night, that's them out now. So that will work in Scotland's favour.
I don't know. I don't know what you felt, Michael, but I felt like the atmosphere going through on the telly. I didn't think the atmosphere was great last night. I thought the atmosphere was pretty quiet.
I think that was more to do with the performance on the part, Reagan.
Yep.
And I think that the fans were getting restless, and I was getting restless sitting in the house, because everybody, as soon as Scotland got the ball back the way, back pat, we haven't got we haven't got like a kind of Paul stay players like that can like run at them as well and take the ball or take the game by the scruff of the neck, basically. So I think that the fans were frustrated by watching that performance, and I mean, God knows how much money they paid to watch that performance. They're happy at the end of the night. I think it was 96 minutes as well.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I get you, because I feel as though that the supporters was going to be, up for the game in the way. I mean, the national anthem was brilliant. Again, I like it. Hampden, nothing beats a Hampden Flab of Scotland and all that. But 20 minutes into the game, it was a kind of different atmosphere. But I think that was down to the fact that the team wasn't performing well.
Michael, I wanted to ask you, right? The attendance last night was 46,000, right? Now, now that means that there was something like 7 or 8,000 empty seats. Now, surely, from an SFA point of view, they should be trying to make the tickets more affordable for more people to be there enjoying it. And I get it's absolutely brilliant that the matches are now free to air, right, Michael? But as I was saying earlier, the attendance was 46,000. So like there was still a lot of empty spaces in the stadium.
I don't know if they still do the Scotland games. You might know, somebody else might know watching, but they just can actually give tickets away to schools, so that schools can go as well. And I know it's a bit different, because obviously it's a 1:45 kick-off, and the schools might bring today as well. But I think that's
No, the schools are off today, Michael. It's the October week.
Oh yeah, but I don't know what it's maybe because most of the fans are getting put off by Stevie Clark, or the time of the kickoff, or stuff like that. So I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually sure how that was, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe because it's on free to air TV, people say that, well, I can't be. I would rather sit in a nice warm house watching the game than freezing my backside off at Hampden, eating a cold pie as well. But I think you might see the opposite on Sunday because obviously they won the game last night and there's a bit of a feel good factor. And plus, it's a 5 o'clock kickoff on the Sunday night, and nobody really does anything on a Sunday anyway. So yeah, hopefully it will be a full house on Sunday, and we'll get an early goal.
Yeah, I mean, the only sort of negative for Scotland was they picked up a slight injury on the back line.
Yeah, Keeling Tierney, that's worrying for Celtic as well.
Yeah, and obviously, I, I, I think it was Aaron Hickey as well that picked up an injury.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Well. I'll talk about Tierney first because obviously, for myself, from a Scottish football point of view, and a Celtic point of view, that you're a big Celtic fan as well, know, Regan, that it's worrying because he can't last a whole game now. And I know a lot of people that is happy to see Tierney back, but the same breath, people say that, well, why did they bring Tierney back? Because he wasn't the same player as he was before he went to Arsenal. And I think it's quite bad for Scotland to see that, or that Aaron Hickey front as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Scotland has went, like 2 or 3 games in a row where people not get injured, and that's a concern as well.
Yeah, I think Steve Clark said he's got Max Johnson he's going to bring in as well, which is a good thing because Max Johnson's been playing well. Looking ahead to Sunday, Michael, hopefully we can see Ben Doak running down the wing more often because I feel like last night we did. I think it was really difficult for him to really get into the match.
Yeah, no, I think it was isolated. I think the Greeks done their kind of homework. That will cliche in football, but yeah, I mean, I think that I think there was one chance, Reagan, in the first half. Was it 5 minutes to go in the half? I can't remember. We made that run, and it was a corner, and that got the fans up a wee bit. But apart from that, it was a bit quiet last night, and that's a concern as well. But I think you've got to put that down to Greece being a good team and they've done the homework and they've got good players and all the rest of it. But I see what you mean because Scotland is at home and using the supporters as a kind of 12th man as well. So yeah, hopefully in Sunday it'll be a different story and a different game.
Yeah, I think in general, I think Scotland in general, I think we can be very happy with how this qualifying campaign's been so far.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be negative, Regan, right? And you might call me Mr. Negative here or Mr. Worry Mother, because Worry Mother is very kind of happy negative at the same time. But yeah, I mean, Scotland had brilliant campaigns. I'm thinking about the campaign we qualified when the Euros were held in the COVID season, I think it was, between Hampden and Wembley, and the game against, was it Norway that we went away, and was it Ken McLean scored the last minute?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, it's good, but
Serbia. Yeah, Serbia.
Serbia, but also we scored a last minute goal in Norway.
Yeah, Norway, yeah, I remember that.
We won 2-1.
I know last year, aye.
And yeah, and I'm thinking, well, okay, yeah, it's brilliant for Scotland to qualify and all the rest of it, but really, you want to do something at these kind of tournaments. Like, you're not going to these tournaments like to make up the numbers. You want to perform well, and also you want to put Scottish football on the map a wee bit, because for years, Reagan, Scottish football has been flaky. Not even the international team, but our teams in Europe. I'm thinking about Celtic and Rangers and Aberdeen, Hibs, Dundee United, all the rest of it as well. But we need to be at that. We need to go to that level. But also, when we're at that level, we need to do something. It's not a case of just turning up and say, "Right, okay, we're here for the money and the fame and all that." We need to do something and winning games as well. And it doesn't matter.
I think you're spot on in terms of we need to do something at these tournaments, Michael. But I mean, could you imagine Glasgow and Edinburgh City Centre next year if we get to the world trophy in America? I mean, it would just be amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
This would be absolutely jumping. It would be absolutely brilliant, and we could do a Scottish football zone, watch along party, and Glasgow City Centre. Michael, it would be absolutely amazing. I mean, I think the whole of Scotland would be tuning in to watch the Scotland matches, because if you look at the actual France '98, people still talk about going home from school early to watch those games, about the whole memories. So if we get there, it'll just be absolutely brilliant to go and watch. But I do find it interesting that there was talk about potentially that if the European teams get there, that there could be a potentially matches on at 2 o'clock in the morning. So that could be interesting. Maybe the parliament would need to open the pubs at a slightly different time, Michael.
well, do they not do that for the Super Bowl when they have a special license and they open pubs till they've got a license till like 2 in the morning or open at 2 in the morning and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's brilliant because it's good a pity that Hampden was they were letting fans in during the cold season because the atmosphere would have been brilliant. Not even at the games, but also like in George Square and all that. I mean, obviously it's a different sport completely, Reagan, but I was at the Commonwealth Games and I was lucky enough to be at some of the sports there and just walking about Glasgow. And there was one night where we went to George Square, just for the atmosphere. And we were going for something to eat, and we couldn't get a table anywhere because Glasgow was so busy. But I only went for the atmosphere, so it would be brilliant to see that, albeit it's in America, but we'll have fan zones here in Glasgow and all the rest of it, Edinburgh. And then it'll kind of like, I don't want to think that an old person here, but I'm going to think that an old person that you like to encourage the next generation to say, well, I want to be the next Andy Robertson and I want to be the next Kieran Tierney and play for Scotland. It's a bit like when, I know this is a totally different sport, and I know you're a big tennis fan, but like when Andy Murray got to Wimbledon and he won it, and he won the Olympics as well. The next week you saw a lot of tennis centres opening up in Scotland.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you make in terms of it's a busy year for Scottish sport, Michael. When we've got the Commonwealths are coming back, in 2026. The attitude's around the corner because we're not going to talk about Christmas because that's pretty soon. So, and then we've got obviously the big tournament over in America next summer as well.
Yeah, I mean, and then I'm not a big Tour de France fan, but obviously the event's coming to Edinburgh next year. It's like
I was going to make a joke. I was going to make a joke there, Michael, and say it's not very Tour de France if they're doing it in Edinburgh.
yeah, no, I know him. Tour de France in the way Edinburgh.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it's good when big sporting events are coming to Scotland. You know, albeit people would say a bit of a default because the Commonwealth Games are coming back, and it's not on the same scale as it were 2014. But it's nice to see them back. But yeah, I mean it's good to see big sporting events coming back to Scotland in terms of like years ago. I can't remember when it was. The Champions League final was at Hampden as well.
2004, 2000. Yeah, it was Zinedine Zidane against Bayer Leverkusen.
Yep. So everybody remembers these kind of events, really, for the atmosphere. It's amazing when these events happen. You actually there's a bit in your memory that it reminds you where you were at that
Have you
particular
ever heard
time.
Have you ever heard the old joke, Michael? It says two Scottish guys played in a Champions League final.
No.
Two Scottish guys played in a Champions League final. The Proclaimers. They played the halftime show.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, yeah, there you go, yeah. It's better than Commonwealth Games because we had Callaghan Bar at the Commonwealth Games, but anyway, say no more about that. And
John
John Bannerman,
Bannerman, aye.
yeah,
Celtic Park.
aye.
Aye.
I was lucky enough to be there.
Aye.
At the rehearsal, aye.
The rehearsal.
The rehearsal, and that was funny. That
A man in high places, Michael.
yeah, well, I don't know about that. But no, I mean, going back to the football, it's brilliant to see that Scotland hopefully being at the top table and mixing with players as well. And it puts Scottish football on the map, as I say, because, and I know you're sick of me saying this, but there's a purpose of me saying that because a lot of people think Scottish football is a Mickey Mouse league and or the journeyman, and they only come for a stepping stone to the Premiership in England or Italy or Spain, as it were, you know. So, no, I'm looking forward to if we get there.
And I think the thing as well, Michael, is now we've got good players. I mean, they could have easily wilted last night when they went 1-0 down, but the reaction was great. They went 1-0 down, they got the goal back right away because if they waited about 10 minutes and they wouldn't have scored, then I think Scotland would have got beat by 2 or 3 goals.
Yeah, the reaction was good by the team because I mean obviously it was a good time to score the goal as well. If we left getting a later line, you would say, well, it's another defeat and everybody wants Stewie Clark's head and all the rest of it as well. But no, they did well to get the goal back when they did, and then they built on that. And I think the thing I like about Scotland last night was. And I know Stevie Clark's got this attitude at times where they're not settling for a point. You know, when they get the goal, they want to go again, and they want to score another one, and then another one, as well. 3-1's a bit kind of better than 2-1. I know that's a bit daft me saying it, but there's.
I know what you mean. It's like the kind of the safety net that if they score, then you're not kind of worrying because I was stressed out last night. I was thinking, well, if we get 2-1 and then it was 2-1, Michael, and I'm like, 6 minutes, I'm saying they're going to score. But then, thank God, Diggs popped up with that last minute goal.
Yeah, I mean, we always use this phrase in football that 3-1's better than 2-1. Especially if you were going on at half time and if it was one each, then if it was 2-1, then that team still won the game, as it were. All they need to come out and get a penalty and get a stupid VR decision and all the rest go in the back in the game. Where 3-1's a bit of a kind of like cushion as well. So, thanks to the keeper, right enough.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what about that VR decision last night? Because I thought it was definitely offside, and then we actually got the the choice of it being a goal for Scotland.
I think they got away with one, Reagan. There's not a lot of time we can come on the show and say that, but they definitely did when you saw the replay. But I think as well that when you come up against big teams like that, I think you've got to, in the way that we performed as well, you've got to like roll your luck at times as well. And that was very, very lucky. I would be interested to hear the Greek media what they're saying about that today, like that goal, because I mean, believe you me, Reagan, like, see if Greece scored that goal, we would be up in arms about it. But because it went for us, we were a bit quiet, but we were saying, well, we're quite lucky we got that goal. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think what you're saying there, Michael, spot on, because I feel like VAR done us a big favour. But I'm sure there's been many times over the years, Michael, where we've really been like we've really like everybody's feel like Scotland should have won that game and we've compete. So it's about time we got some luck.
yeah. I mean, if you think back years and years and years, and I don't want to say Bertie Volts because maybe it's a bad name, but bad word. But Scotland would just kind of like crumble if they went 1-0 down. Well, the final score would be 4-0. You know what I mean? Like how we would cave in and all the rest of it. But yeah, I suppose it's Stewie Clark's a good man manager, and in a way that he builds this kind of never say die attitude in the team. That's the way it should be. And don't forget, these players are desperate trying to go to a World Cup, and these players, it might be the last opportunity that they're going to have to get to a World Cup as well, because of their career they're finishing and all the rest of it. So the self determination in these players to get to a World Cup as well. And okay, they went to the Euros, but as you said, World Cup's something a bit different because you're playing teams from like kind of like all over the world.
Yeah, I think that's a great point you make in terms of this Scotland team has really shown over the years the progression that it can make, and that brings us on to like so in terms of Sunday's match, Michael. We'll just kind of end on that. What are you expecting on Sunday? You expecting hopefully a few goals? Maybe you can breathe a bit easier instead of being on that. Oh, is Scotland going to win? Are they going to get beat? Or what's going to happen?
I'm expecting a different game, obviously, but I'm expecting Belarus too. And I know you like me saying this, but I'll say it again. They might be parking 10 buses behind the ball. I think that I think teams like Belarus and all that, when they come in your hand, and the best chance of getting the goal was from a set play, like from a corner kick, free kick, or dare say a stupid VR decision that makes a penalty.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think the important thing for Scotland, Michael, is if we get that early goal and then that kills all the momentum for them. Because if we get an early goal, it should be an easy game. But say we go on and we get a goal in the last 15 minutes, everybody will be stressed saying, hurry up and score. But if we get a goal in the first 5 minutes and everybody's all happy, then Hampden will be happy. And then it'll just, I think we'll probably go on and score many more. I think Michael Stewart also mentioned about the fact that Scotland don't need to score a few goals as well because Denmark scored 6 last night. I think the good thing from a Scotland point of view. Sorry if there's any Belarus fans watching, right? But I think the good thing for us is like generally what happens in football is like if you're not playing well, you're not playing well. And probably the best thing for us, Michael, was them getting beat 6-0 because they'll not be full of confidence. They'll be coming to Hampden thinking, oh my God, this is going to be so hard.
Do you remember the game a few years ago at Hampden where we played Kazakhstan and we came off a brilliant result? And the good spot you were saying there, the fans were on our back, and I think did we get a last minute winner or something? So, but I'm not expecting that on Sunday, right? And you never know by Scotland, but I think
I'm expecting a few goals, maybe 4 or 5. I think
I'm expecting because the performance wasn't up the last night, right? I think it's Scotland performance, right? And we got the result. I think the fans will be up for the game, and that will feed on to the players as well. But I also think the first maybe, and I know I always say this in the show as well, I think that the first 15 minutes would be crucial if we get another goal, hopefully another goal as well, and we don't take our foot off the gas. Because no matter how many goals we score in the game, it breeds confidence as well. And I don't think from memory Scotland is a very high scoring team. So I think that we need to A, put in a performance, but B, score a lot of goals in the game as well.
And I think if we can win this game on Sunday, Michael, it sets us up lovely for the last 2 games, away to Greece and then home against Denmark.
Yeah, I mean, if you asked me before the 2 games, Reagan, before this camp, I would say I would be happy if we took 4 points at the game in terms of a point last night and 3 points against Belarus on Sunday. But now that we've got 3 points and we need to kick on now to get the 6 points that we're looking for. So yeah, I think it will be a different performance from hopefully a different performance. And as I say, 3-0, I would say to Scotland now.
Michael, what do you make of this comment? He's saying, what for formation do you think Scotland are playing Sunday? He fancies a 3-5-2. Thank you for your comment.
I think you can get away with that formation at home, especially when, and I know people always laugh at me saying this, but because Hampden's a big park as well. So I think like you could get away with that. Put it this way, like you couldn't get away with that against the top side, especially at home. But obviously,
I don't think you get away with it against like a Spain or a Italy or more like that. But yeah. I think like Belarus, because we're going to be dominating the ball, I think it's a perfect way to break them down. Because I think 3-5-2 is great because I mean it's not just that. I mean, could you imagine if they've got like Che Adams up there, plus they've got Dykes, they're putting pressure on and making it difficult as well.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to you earlier on the show, even though you've asked me about Che Adams and I was disappointed again on last night, but I don't know. I've just got this sneaky feeling that the two of them would work together in terms of Adams would run about all day for you and Dykes is there to put the ball in the net. Shea Adams is, I don't know what you feel, or people might say watching this, but I don't think Dykes has got a lot of pace. So you're expecting Adams to do all the kind of donkey work, as it were. And
don't think he's got a lot of pace, but I think he offers more in terms of a shot and in terms of hitting the ball. So if we can get Adams chasing about, and then we can get Dykes to put that finishing touch on the match, then I think the most important person that plays on Sunday is Ben Doak. I didn't think he was great last night, but I think because he's a tricky winger, he can really test the Belarus players. And like you always say, Michael, sorry, in terms of people coming to Celtic Park and Ibrox, they park 10 buses. I think they'll be parking 20 buses on Sunday. I don't think they'll be wanting to go anywhere near our go our go Scotland's goals in terms of trying to score, because I just think they're happy to get a draw.
I mean, you can't write Ben Doak or Ben Gallon Doak. I would love to know why he's got a two-barrel name for, but maybe that's some girl that's on the chat. But you can't write him off after one game, and plus the fact that he's playing at what is it, Bournemouth now?
Yeah, Bournemouth. He's playing in the seaside town of Bournemouth. I mean, it'll be lovely down there. He's got Bournemouth Beach. He's got fish and chips. What more could you want, Michael?
And so he's playing at that level, and obviously he was at Liverpool before that night. Nobody's going to come around and say he can't get a game for Scotland because he's rubbish last night. I think the whole team was poor last night, but also you can't just single Doak out to say, well, we want to get him in the team. He was poor last night, but if he's playing at a Premiership level in England against, albeit so-called good players, you can't write him off and say, well, you can't get a game for Scotland again. Because, I mean, I've been on the show a lot of times, so have you, Regan, and we've been crying out for players like Ben Doak, and remember the likes of Lewis Ferguson and Lawrence Shankland got a big advocate, having players like that getting into the squad as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to think that you're a family member of Lawrence Shankland. You do quite like him.
I do, yeah, but I don't think he got a fair crack at the whip.
I don't think he did it, especially when the last qualifying campaign to go to Germany, he scored a last minute goal to get us there. Just didn't understand why you wouldn't reward somebody that scored that last minute goal against. I think it was against Georgia. Would I be right in saying he scored a last minute goal?
Yeah, away from home, he come on as a sub and all the rest of it. But I mean, that kind of ties into what you were saying earlier on, Regan, about young players. The 17-year-old coming on last night, we've got young players in the Scotland squad. Sorry, we've got young players playing in Scotland that does not get called up for Scotland. And when they do get called up for Scotland, they've already been playing in Premiership level for a year. So I just don't understand decisions like that. And taking off Ben Gallon Doak last night, I kept the group chat and I was like, why? Even though he had a poor game, but he's one of these players where he only needs one chance and it's a goal. So why take him off last night, even though the subs walked in, we won the game and all the rest of it. But
yeah, I mean, I'm just going to ask you for a final kind of question, because I know we're going to go in about 5 minutes time, but I'm just want to ask you in terms of, see, like I was watching the tail last night, and Michael Stewart and McFadden were saying, right, it's okay moaning about the performance, right? But we actually won the match. So how do you balance it up? Because I think we were terrible, to be honest with you, Michael. I thought we were really bad. But
I
we
mean,
still, but we still got the 3 points. I mean, if you look at years gone by, how many times have we played a brilliant game, but
and not one.
we've managed to get beat 2 or 3 goals.
It's a difficult one, I think, Regan, because I mean, we could be doing a show this year, maybe not live from America, but like if Scotland qualify for the World
If you
Cup,
guys like the American, that'd be great.
yeah, but we wouldn't be caring a jot about how we beat Greece, but yet the performance wasn't brilliant. But that I keep saying on the show, especially after the Celtic and Rangers in Europe, it doesn't matter if if you ask any fans that, oh yeah, Celtic's had 12 shots at goal, Rangers has had 13. I know the rest of it. They don't really care about how many shots at goal they have. All they care is did they win the game or did they get a point? But and saying that the performance wasn't brilliant, you were expecting a bit more from Scotland last night than you did. But obviously, you got the 3 points and you don't care about how. But you were expecting more of a performance,
I think you were expecting, but I think you could, even though we won, you can still be critical of Clark because
Mm.
I think he clearly made the changes a little bit too late because I feel like Billy should have been on there a little bit earlier.
I think Billy could have started the game. Uh, you know, um, uh, what's the point of picking players, but like Billy Gilmore and putting him on the bench, especially at home? You would rather see him coming off after 60 minutes and going on.
Yeah, because he's the kind of player that controls midfield. I know
Mm.
people go Scott McTominay and John McGinn, but they don't really control the midfield. But see when Billy comes on there, he controls the whole picture of the match.
Yeah, he's a. You would maybe say that he's a young player. Um, what is it the saying is? If you're good enough, you're old enough. You know.
Yeah, I mean they've been
Um,
saying that about me for years, Michael.
yeah,
That
yes, and I've still been waiting for a call from you, but it's never going to happen. But it's you just want to see your best players on the park, whether that's for Celtic or Scotland or Aberdeen or Rangers or Hearts as well. Because you would rather start the team with a strong team than finishing a game, um, especially against teams like Greece.
Yeah, Michael. I mean that has been on forever now. So I'll ask you for a prediction on Sunday, but because I'm not sure that you're about if you're going to be on Sunday. So I'll get a prediction from you for Sunday's match against Belarus.
I will say, 3-0 to Scotland.
3-0. I'm going to go for a big scoreline. I'm going to go Scotland 5, Belarus 0.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would be happy at that score as well, but I think, like, as you're asking the Tottenham fan, if we won 1-0, they would be disappointed, saying that we still with 3 points. But if it was 4-0, 5-0, 8-0, I'll be happy. But yeah, I mean, you would be expecting us win the game by 3-0.
Okay, well, Michael, that has been on forever now. So we'll see everyone again on Sunday, where hopefully Scotland get another 3 points on the way to America. And hopefully we'll see you again soon, Michael. I'm imagining we will be on around about 3 o'clock or maybe 3:30, something like that, and maybe doing a little build up.
Yep. 3:30 on Sunday. That'll be cool, and I'll be wearing my kilt.
Oh, where your kill? Okay, Michael. As long as you've got the bagpipe sorted as well.
Yeah. I'm not going to answer that one.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again on Sunday at 3:30. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.
You're watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and reaction.